What's up?
We have hit 1,000 subscribers, folks, and right in the middle of a very Corey Christmas. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And what better way to keep the show going than with the top 5 best movies from Corey Haim. Legit one of my favorite actors of all time. You know, not to bash Dog, that's my boy right there, but in my opinion, Haim had some better performances throughout his career, even though, he never did quite ever come back as he should have. And while his films don't get nearly as diverse as Feldman's catalog, with Haim, we get some very genuine performances, even when, it's not that genuine. You'll see what I mean. Along with our good friend Stephen Monkey Mason from Lonely Tree Entertainment, we bring you the one and only definitive Nobody Else's List Matters Top 5 Corey Haim movies. And right off the bat, we agree on our number 5 pick. So take it away, bud.
Okay, so top 5 Corey Haim movies. Now, Corey Haim started off quite dramatically. Little small bits of roles there, pops up. Then really stole the show with stuff like Silver Bullet, and Battle for the Rose with Feldman for Lucas. And by the time Lost Boys came along, going into the 90s, he was a pretty big deal, but then sort of made some really bad decisions. Right, so in at number 5, Watchers. That's Watchers there. Bitchin' ass German version, that actually. Love the artwork for that VHS. Watchers was always a hard one for me to get because that's the UK release of it. There, Corey Haim, Watchers. Really hard to get a hold of. In fact, I actually got this one in Nelson, New Zealand when I was a kid, trying to track it down. Just films are so hard over here to get a hold of. Some of them might even have different names. I know I've talked about like Legionnaire, like Moving In, so known as Firstborn in America and stuff like that. There'll be a couple up there. But yeah, Watchers was a weird one, based off the book. The book is amazing. You get to read the book by Dinar Kundez. It's amazing. Unfortunately, that doesn't really, it follows it briefly, but you need to check out the book because in the book the dog is extremely funny. It's obsessed with Mickey Mouse. It takes over the course of 6 months. Travis, the character, is a lot older. The second film borrows a lot more from the book. Watchers is a film that desperately needs to be remade and could even suit well as a mini show. But the artwork dramatically changes. In fact, I'm sure I've got it on Laserdisc. Oh, there you go. Look at that, man. In Japanese. Just an orange burning beast. Watchers in blue. Michael Ironside's got his face above Corey Haim. It's mental. But no, quite like the soundtrack. As I say, the film's obviously when he had a bit of a just after Dream a Little Dream in it, or before that, went back to Canada for a bit, rocking the mullet.
Yeah, I think I'm a good kisser. Oh, I think.
Number 4, Demolition High. Man, I love this movie. As far as raw entertainment goes, it doesn't get more raw than this. You know how Steven said in the Worst of Feldman list that in Voodoo it kind of seemed like Feldman took over a role meant for Haim? Well, the same can be kind of said here, but in reverse. Haim didn't get as, let's say, carefree with his roles as Feldog did. Well, he didn't do it as quick, I guess. But, as far as Haim performances go, this one isn't the best, but the film makes up for it, trust me. And Haim kicks some ass. And here we get all the hallmarks of 1990s trash cinema, playing out like a Die Hard with Haim. Or kind of like a Toy Soldiers with Haim. Toy Soldiers, which, was in turn like a Sean Astin Die Hard. Hear more about that in my exciting episode of Staunch on Film Lincoln Comments, featuring Corey Haim's Life 101 co-star, Keith Coogan.
Next up, I've got Without Malice, which is this one, which I think's extremely rare now because that's pretty much the last VHS, I think. Without Malice, basically he goes out with his brother-in-law and his brother-in-law thinks he's about to shoot a deer and shoots a guy, and it's all about you better not tell anyone, and it's very strong performance. I thought it was a strong performance because stuff like Universal Groove and stuff like just Disappear, like Shooter on the Side and fucking whichever Merlin you want to talk about, You know, he was trying to get a comeback. He just, I mean, funny story is, Corey Haim died fucking 5 miles away from us when I was in LA. My mate messages, you know, fucking hell, Corey Haim's dead. I was like, where are you? I was like, I'm in LA, like, I'm in Hollywood. And he died just down there. I was like, fuck, it's just a small world. I had nothing to do with it. But it's such a loss. Like, I mean, it was awesome to meet Feldman and do some bits and bobs with Feldman, but again, Haim would have been great to meet. I actually got to meet the rest of the Lost Boys. I don't know if you can see that picture. There you go. There you go. That was last year. That was just a year ago, that.
Number 3, Universal Groove. Now, I admit that this one isn't the best one. It kind of works as a movie, I guess. I mean, you can tell what they're going for in an A for effort, but damn, there's just no real blocking and no real script even. The scenes just kind of start and stop. And they seem to really emphasize the music here a little bit too much. And the movie had one hell of a production from what I can find. And, you know, it's just cool to see Haim in such an experimental guerrilla-type movie like this, where he plays a writer-director struggling with his script. You know, so he gets involved with the underground drug and EDM scene for some inspiration. And with Haim trying to write a Western script all the while, I mean, it really makes for an interesting story. And Haim is fun to watch here. There's cool things like the drugs being bright lights, and the residual effects of said drugs having an obvious effect on anyone involved.
How about a how to give head guide for dykes?
I don't know, it's pretty cool. And, you know, so while it might not be one of his best films, you know, Haim is a lot of fun in it.
Number 3 is Silver Bullet, which is up there. An American, I'm sure the Laserdisc was just on the floor. Silver Bullet's seen a resurgence recently. I mean, it could get remade, especially with everything Stephen King getting remade. I think the cover over here has always been a bit meh. But I haven't been able to track down the Scream Factories. We don't get a lot of Scream Factories over here. I mean, that's just got a wolf hiding in the tree. It's like fucking creepy. Looks like that creepy Never Ending Story thing all over again. Fucking hell. Scared me as a kid. But yeah, Silver Bullet. I think it's really good. I think his performance is good in it.
My man, through his company, Jack Tripper. Furley.
Number 2, Lucas.
Really?
I first noticed the Haimster in License to Drive, and soon after Lost Boys. But it wasn't until I saw Lucas that I became a lifelong fan. You know, I must have been about 11 or so when I saw it on TV and realized that I had seen it before when I was an even younger kid. Only to find out that, yeah, it was a favorite of my siblings upon release. But when I discovered the film for myself, I was at that strange point in adolescence where nothing really mattered, you know, and everything just seemed so confusing. And me being an awkward kid myself, I instantly related to Lucas. It's one of the first films that I remember calling my favorite, and it acts as a time machine and just takes me back to those days. And to be honest, I can't even watch this movie without bawling my eyes out at least once. I mean, the powerful theme song alone hits me right in the feels. However, I do still watch it about once every 5 years or so. In fact, the viewing is well overdue. If only for Haim's performance, you know, which is mesmerizing. He really proved himself early on, man. He is just heartbreaking in this. And I'm guessing it's, you know, the time or something, but everything just seems so real and innocent in this movie. There are stakes to the characters' actions. And we see some characters face realities they probably never would have, you know, unless they ran into Lucas. The behind-the-scenes drama hasn't really ruined this movie for me. And the only reason, you know, it's not number 1 is mainly because Corey was so young, and he had his entire career ahead of him. And, you know, I'm trying to be fair here. But, you know, I often wonder what happened to Lucas.
Number 2 is Hostage Game, also known as American Sunset. This is his last film, you know, for like fair play. You can see he was carrying. I mean, but the end of the day, Corey Haim, brackets Lost Boys, Frank Molana, don't know who that is. What was he in? The clock is ticking. I think that was a great final performance.
Exactly what you did. What you did is you sacrificed me.
I never sacrificed you.
Really?
Bob guided you every step of the way, making sure that you found all the clues that I left for you.
Well, what about your offshore accounts, huh?
And my honorable mention was Crank 2. But like Crank 2 again, it was good to see him back on the big screen. I want to see Crank 2 the pictures because Haim was in it.
What's that ticking sound?
Yeah, what is that sound? You're kind of weird, Tick Man. It's time for you to go. Want to drop the hammer, baby?
See, honorable mention, I gotta give it to Fast Getaway 2. Well, you know, I do like the original. In my humble opinion, Part 2 just has a bit more spice to it. And, of course, we agree in our number one pick. You can hear me rant about this one in my Rollerblades on Film video, link in description. But for now, take it away, Steven.
Number 1, Pray the Roller Boys. And considering there's a massive poster of Pray the Roller Boys there, I don't get to do this quite often because I haven't been able to frame this one yet. Pray the Roller Boys was one of the first ones I seen. Look at that! I love the score. It's a product of the time. It's like Gleaming of the Cube. It opened the doors for a lot. I mean, this, you can look at the floors and go, right, the bad guys on rollerblades, just run up the stairs. Alright, you can go up the stairs. Well, you know, just do something that you don't need. Get in the car. You can't drive from rollerblades in the car. Now, Pray the Roller Boys has been released over here. And I recently just got this. It's pretty cool. That's a New Zealand one. It's a pretty cool cover. It's the same as the poster over there. I'll try and remember to do an outtake. You can see that bitchin' ass poster. I think that's his best. You can see at the start of the 90s where you've had Dream Machine, which tailed on the end of License to Drive. And then you've got like Fast Getaway, Pray the Roller Boys, and then Double O Kid happened and let's get on the slippy slide and go down to Stowboard Academy. So that was in top 5.
Again, thank you all for watching. It is a very Corey Christmas. Thanks for joining me again, Steven. Everyone be sure to go subscribe to Lonely Tree Entertainment. Link in description. Thank you all for watching. It's a very Corey Christmas. You can now join the Staunch TV mailing list if you haven't heard. All you gotta do is send a physical address for goodies and such to derrytigers@gmail.com. And of course, like, share, and comment on this video. And be sure to hit that notification bell if you haven't, as you do not want to miss Corey Haim's top 5 worst movies.
So tune in next time. Same place, same Haim channel. Right here.
Rest in peace, Corey. We sure do miss you, buddy.